Hello, welcome back to our channel with Alan Dembski and Juliana Jansen of Buffalo First Wealth Management. And we are super excited to talk about the guilt-free guide to spending, or as other people would refer to it as budgeting. So today we're going to kind of talk about a different mindset when we're talking about what you can and can't do with your money. Sometimes the term budgeting is referred to as the bad word or the B word, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't like to hear about that. So we're going to spend a couple minutes just chatting about that.
Yeah, and I think budgeting has an identity problem. I think that people see it as restrictive, they see it as time consuming, and frankly, I think they see it as something that's going to, if they set up a budget, they're going to feel guilty about their spending. But it's really exactly the opposite.
Absolutely. And, when you're talking getting that permission to spend, I guess, sometimes people have that buyer's remorse, though. It's the old paycheck simulation. When you get paid, you're super happy. At the end of your pay period, you're sad because you have no money left. And then you're happy again because you have money in your bank account. So it's like that happy cycle. And then if I buy something, am I getting my own financial approval of buying that? Turning around, I always say, when you buy something or buy a new car, I should say, the first person you're looking at is when you pull out of the parking lot is yourself in the rearview mirror. Did you make that right decision or not?
Yeah, and I think that there are many ways that you can approach budgeting. I think people feel that it's going to be cumbersome, it's going to be a lot of pen and paper or spreadsheets, and it can be, but it absolutely doesn't have to be. And essentially what you're doing when you're setting up a budget is you're setting up your needs, the things like rent and insurance and utilities that really have to be paid and for the most part don't vary that much. And your flexible spending, so you can go out for a fancy dinner or you can get groceries and cook at home. Your food spending often is very flexible depending on how you approach it. And then you have your wants, which would be whatever you like to spend money on but don't necessarily need.
Yeah, there's certainly trade-offs when you're, considering your budget ideas or your guilt-free guide to spending. Example, buying name brand items versus generic at the grocery store or wherever you might do your shopping. Picking up your food versus delivery with all the extra surcharges for, just them delivering it. Hey, I want to treat myself to going out to eat and I budgeted XYZ for eating out, but then I do food service delivery and they tack on an extra 10 or 15%. Well, that could be the price of another meal of eating out. So understanding those trade-offs when you're considering what you want to spend your money on.
And I think that the main thing is when you're setting up your budget, you're the one that's in control. You're the one based on what your goals are, what your needs are, what's important to you. We had a conversation when we were setting up this video about cars. I am not a car person. They don't matter to me. It's just a means to get from one place to the other. So when I'm setting up my budget, a car, spending on a car is not something that is really important to me. So I don't spend as much there.
I do like cars. I will admit it. I am a car person. I don't go extravagant, but there are a lot of things that I look for in a car. I'm a car person, not an SUV person. But those types of things are important to me. And in my budget, I figure out a way to be able to do that. Whereas having a big house is not important to me. If I have a living room with a TV, that's all I need.
And that's one of the main tenets of setting up your budget is it's got to reflect your values and it's got to reflect what's important to you.
Right.
And then you can set up a budget, a spending plan, a guilt-free or permission to spend, whatever you want to call it, that aligns with what's important to you.
Right. And always remember that budgeting is just being aware of your money. It's not saying that you can't spend or you shouldn't spend, but just understanding where it's going. And like Juliana said, the fixed side, the discretionary side, fit those things into your plan when you're developing it.
And so that when the expense comes up, it doesn't cause stress. It doesn't cause anxiety because you've accounted for it. It's in your budget and it's just something that it gets spent and you move on with your life.
Absolutely. So in a couple other videos, we'll start discussing some budgeting techniques or guilt-free guide to spending. So stay tuned to our future channels. Thank you and have a great day.